I'm going to start by saying this. The evening, afternoon service, if you want to sing, if you want to help us speak, feel welcome. You're very welcome. If the Lord puts something on your heart, then I'll let you head up here. I'll sit down and I'll be quiet, and I know I can hear you guys say that's hard to do. Let's start by saying, if you ever have anything to start with, feel free to. You take up all of my time that you need because I'm getting to where I'm on yours so much, and I feel bad. But let me say this. If the Lord has placed something on your heart, do it. Why do I say that? Because he put it on your heart. Here's where I'm going. This morning, as I said this morning in there, I don't eat on the these. I try not to, because if I don't, it helps me speak. I went home today and I felt bad. So I ate all I could eat. All day I've been like this. I'm not going to be full. I'm not going to be clear. I'm not worried. I was concerned about some things. Because what of everything that was said in the morning service, what was the most important thing you guys think was said?
About love.
He said it. What did he say?
Me or Papa?
He did. What did he say? Now, you guys are thinking I'm putting you guys on the spot. Here's why I'm putting you guys on the spot. After I went home, ate all I could eat. I laid down. I thought, I tossed, I turned, I thought about it. See, I made the comment, why is it so hard to love someone? And he said, what? He said, without God. That's what everything the Lord spoke about. If you do these things for any other reason than to serve him, do these things without him, then what? There's no reward for it, because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm young, I'm still growing. He's older, he's seasoned. I've heard him say it so many times. It won't take him but 3 minutes. And I got up there and I ran and raved and everything I spoke. But as I got home, it's exactly what he said and what this is actually about. And here's what the Lord is saying. You can come here every Sunday, but you can head out there and do all of these things. But if he's not with you, if you're not led by him, if you're not doing for his good, which will result in somebody else's good, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I'm going to read a few verses that I set up and it's heavily upon my heart. If the Lord is not with us, everything is in vain, right? Everything. I almost feel like saying you might as well not do it, but I'm not going to go that far. But here's what I'm saying. If it's in vain, that's saying what? If you're not doing it for him, what is that saying about you? What is that saying about us?
You're doing it for your own self-worth.
And if we're doing it for that reason, then what's going to happen? Depart from me, I never knew. Depart from me, I never knew. Is that why we're doing what we're doing? Why are we doing what we're doing? We're doing what we're doing, first of all, because we love Christ. The next thing is what? For our salvation.
To bring others to his salvation.
Third, to bring other people to. You're exactly right. And I'm going to say this, if you're not doing it for the right reason, I'm going to say right here and say what they will see through you at some point. They'll say, Daryl's just doing that for himself. He's doing it for himself. And then what have we done? What have we done? Hey, we hear it all the time, right? They're just a bunch of hypocrites. It says it. We're just a bunch of hypocrites. Is that, hey, the Lord didn't hang on the cross because he was a hypocrite. He hung on the cross because he was our Savior. He died through love to save our souls that debt that we couldn't pay. He became what? Our sacrificial lamb. He paid the debt, paid the price of our sin. And that's what this is all about. I'm going to read I'm going to read a few 7 and 16 through 20, and it reads as follows. You will know them by their fruits. Hey, do men gather grapes from thorn bushes, or figs, or figs from thistles? Even so, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree, cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown in the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. If we're led by the Lord, our works, and we do, the things that we do are to bring others to Him. If we do that, if we have these things out of love, then it's going to impact folks' lives. But I'm going to say this: if you get out there and start doing some things, if you're not led by Him, if He's not with you, this I can share with you. You won't be doing them alone. Because it's going to become a burden. The world will do things that will make you feel like I did that and they slapped me, or they did this, I'm betrayed, I feel terrible about it. But when these things happen, what are we supposed to do? Go right on and keep doing what we've done. How are we able to go on and keep doing what we've done? The Lord, through Christ, I can do all things. It is through Him that is going to strengthen me. Just said, you cannot love people without them. Why can we not love them? Because they're human, right? They're going to stumble, they're going to fall, they're going to make mistakes. And sometimes they'll do that over and over and over and over. And if we are trying to do this on our own, what's going to happen to us? We'll become discouraged, we'll become down, and we'll stumble, and we'll quit, right? We will quit. As I went home and as I sat up there, I thought about what he said. And is how you will be judged at the end of your life. He's going to look at this, and here's what he's going to say to you. Did you hear my still quiet voice? Did you do what I asked you to do? Not what you wanted to do. Did you do what I asked of you? And not only did you do what I asked of you, did you do it because I asked? Or did you do it for your own self? Or did you do it for any other reason than what? To serve Him and for the benefit of somebody else. I'm going to say this. If you do not live for Christ, you will not die to Christ. You won't. Why? Because actually He hit the nail on the head. What this is actually about, if you really get with it and stay with it, it's about good old heart, God-fearing church people who was doing good deeds, but He wasn't doing what they were made for the wrong reason. Doing it for the wrong reason. And I'm going to say this. Am I going to struggle and endure and do the things I've done, and at the end of all of this, there is no reward? If there isn't a reward after we're done here, where are you going? Somebody talk to me. Where are you going? Is our goal? And I'm going to say this. There are things that happen in our lives. We as Christians, here's what so many folks don't share. Sometimes the load gets heavy. Sometimes it gets difficult. Because folks are human, right? They do things that make us want to just, I'm done and I quit. Here is the difference I tell myself often of somebody who's led by Christ is a wonderful. Sometimes we will get upset and get discouraged, and I'm going to stay up there myself. I'm not going to do it. Just done. And that same person will go right back over. Again, why do I do it again? That small, still, quiet voice. It makes me think about when I was a kid. I had an older boy, little man, and Larry stayed the same height for whole years. And I heard this often in the car. You guys 20 ounce, he's 2 years older than I was. He didn't grow. I said, no, we're not. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Me and Larry was like night and day. Larry had ideas, and he'd stay on. He'd come on there. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. He wouldn't quit until I'd go do it. And we'd get in trouble. And then I would tell Grandma, I said, I didn't do what he did. She said, you were right there. And you were right there with him. If you didn't stop him, if you wasn't on him, if you didn't persuade him to stop, and then you are just as much at fault as he is. Here's where I'm going. The Lord has us here to serve him. To serve him. Here's what I mean by serving him. When it gets hard, when it gets difficult, when we want to quit, if we're not led by him, you will quit. It's just like he said, how can you love somebody who is like me and my brother? Now, I'm not going to tell you y'all did a good job, but I wouldn't like him one. But here's my point. How will you love somebody who makes the same mistake? It's hard to do, right? I can stand and tell you that it's hard to do. But if we're led by Christ, then we'll do it. Here's what helps me so often. I think of myself and my mom had 8 kids, and every one of us was different. Every one of us was different. She had 8 kids, and there was nobody the same. Everybody had that. Now, it's how we are, right? It's how we are. But if we're led by Christ, then what's going to happen? Because we are so different, what is going to happen? If I surround myself with good God-fearing folks, and we're all completely different, what's going to happen? As I stumble, as I fall, as I need help, there's going to be days that he can help me. There's going to be days that you can help. There's going to be days that he can help. Days she can help. And here's the wonderful thing about that. As I stumble, as I fall, as I struggle to find my way, because you're led by Christ, then what's going to happen? I'm going to see the Lord in each one of you guys. And as I keep seeing him, as you keep serving, as you keep doing what the Lord has asked you to do, like he said, because the Lord is with you, then what's going to happen? And I'm going somewhere because there are some folks, let's say it says you are to enter by the narrow gate, the wide gate. It's true. There are some folks aren't going to find that gate. That's what they're saying. But what's going to happen when they stand before the Lord? Because here's what some folks will say. I was there when Daryl was having a bad day. Here's what I heard. And he might have had a Z or a Y or something crossed, but that's what he said. Here's what I heard, but here's what the Lord is saying. You heard from text. You heard it from our pastor. You heard from Shirley. You heard from Leslie. You heard from Robert. You heard from Carl. You heard from Shirley. But you heard over and over. And you heard from who as well? You heard from me. You heard from me. So there is no excuse. There's no excuse. And I'm going to say this. That is the result that we want to achieve. If somebody does not accept Christ through free will, because they have that option, when they stand before them, what we do not want it to wind up being because they haven't heard. It's a free gift if we accept it. You have the opportunity. We are here to share with the world. This very this very sermon, and I like what Cheryl said, and I enjoy Cheryl and support so often because I can be here and everything said in a click. Boom, 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 and the light never goes out. If we'll share, if we're led by the Lord, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. How do I know that's going to happen? You guys have heard my story. I don't have to retell my story. There was a whole lot, there was a series of lights that went off. Each one was important. I heard the very first one from him, and I heard the very next one, and I heard the very next one, and I heard the very next one, I heard the very next one. And after a while, I couldn't deny that it was from the Lord. It was from the Lord. And after I accepted the fact it was from him, that it was time for me to start doing something. It's time for me to start speaking. Our goal is that the world, it does what? Hear from the Lord through us. How can they hear from him if he's not with us? They can't. And that's why if we're not led by him, that's why he said what he said. If we're not led by him, then what's going to happen? They're going to hear from somebody. He often says this. We preach all the time. If they don't hear from him, who will they hear from? Devil. Yep. They did it for money. And they did it for this. What they did for that. But here's what happens if they hear from Satan. He's not going to make it be about me or you. He's going to make it be about him. Hey, the Lord's a fake. All of that is not real. Is that what we want to happen? We act upon behalf of the Lord. But how can we act on behalf of him? We have to what? It be led by him. And not by our own selfish reasons. Not by our own reasons. Not by saying, I'm going to put my horn because I did this or I did that. Because that's exactly what he's saying. If you're doing that, he's going to say, depart from me. I never knew. They couldn't hear from me. They couldn't see me through me. He's saying, are you serving because they love me and the other folks in the world, or are you just doing what you're doing for yourself? Why are we doing the things that we do? Why are we doing his will? Because we love him. And if it's not in our heart, if we're not doing this from our heart, are we doing his will? Or not? I'm going to say again, if the Lord has placed anything on your heart to help me speak, because I need all the help I can get. Why do I need all the help I can get? Because I need to learn to shut up. How do I learn to shut up? By you guys. Why do I ask you guys to help? We need to hear from all of you guys that you have a story to tell. We all have a purpose. Why do I say we all have a purpose? I'm saying it's more and more every day. I don't care where you work. There's somebody somewhere who's lost. The saddest thing in the world is to see somebody at the end of their rope and they do not know who they can turn to. I'm going to say it again. The saddest thing in the world is finding somebody who's at the end of their rope who think they have tried everything, that do not know where else there is to turn. When you find that, what are we here to do? Talk to me, please, because I'm going to start hollering and screaming. Y'all don't help each other. Amen. To share the good news, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. Hey, to show them what? Love. And as we show them love, what are they going to see? That the Lord is with us. And if they'll accept him, then he will be with them as well. Actually, he's there, but they have to accept him. They have to accept him. He's not going to make you do it. As I sat back there for years, he didn't say, Daryl, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to put you up there, and I'm going to make you do it. But let me say this. If I hadn't have gotten up there at the end of my life, I was going to have to answer for it. the good that we know that we should do and don't is a sin for us. Now, what good have I done besides hollering and screaming? Somebody along the way, hopefully, that I heard. But the same way somebody will hear me, there are some folks who only hear from you. Some people will hear from you. And I like how you say things. And I'm going to say something, guys. Extra. I'm going to say something about extroverted. Guys, let that go. Why do I say let that go? Just speak up and speak out. Why do I say that? I suffered with that forever. I suffered with that forever. And it almost destroyed me. I stuttered and I didn't want folks to hear me stutter. Man, I had a good reason, right? I thought I had a good reason. But here's what I want to share with you. Through Christ, we can do all things. If you'll open up, there's going to be folks who will help you. The very doors you think will not be open for you, the very things you think they cannot happen, they won't happen. They will not happen. It starts by you speaking up. It starts by letting somebody know what the Lord has placed upon your heart. It starts by putting your faith into action. It starts by trusting in the Lord. By allowing the Lord to be with you. By allowing Him to work in your life. There's some folks in here, man, they've got a lot to say. Got a lot to say. As I sat back there and hear you guys, man, here's what you guys don't know. Hey, when I'm hollering and guys, when I'm screaming, I'm fired up. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm happy. Hey, that's a good thing for me. Now, I'm going to learn to shut up and not go so long. I'm going to learn. But here's how I learn. By hearing you guys. Hey, in class back there, I try to wait and hold mine until last. Why do I try to hold mine until last? Because I get to hear from the Lord through y'all. But let me stop just for a second. The same way I hear from Him through you guys because hey, the Lord is with y'all. It's what the world has to do. I want to share something with you guys. And we all have our clips up on the set. We do, right? We do. Now, if you hear something from somebody who you don't know, it doesn't mean as much, except in my situation. But we're not talking about me. But we're talking about if we hear something from somebody inside our clique, what happens to us? Man, would you say that again? We listen. What does the Lord want? The Lord just wants them to stop and hear Him, right? He wants them to stop for a second and listen. Then through free will, it's up to them if they accept and receive. But let me say something. I was as hard-headed as anybody. Man, I'd like to put it on Larry, but we were the same like we did things. My grandmother was strict. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going. If we all are heard, if we're all sharing, then what's going to happen? Every clique, everywhere in the world is going to hear from the Lord. He said what? He said we are to go ye out into the world and spread the gospel all over. How can Cheryl spread it if she's not speaking? How can they hear it if in his group if he's not speaking? How can they hear it in your group? How can they hear it in your group? How can they? And if they hear it from some other person, what's going to happen? They're not going to be able to stop. They just won't.
You know, I'm going to wonder why didn't Daryl tell us that? Why didn't Leslie tell us that? She goes to church all the time.
Amen.
Why didn't she ever tell me that?
Amen.
Why didn't Cheryl tell me that?
And why do we not? Uh-oh, now he's peck on something. Why do we not?
Sometimes it's because they were being ridiculed or looking stupid or foolish or.
You know, You don't know how it's gonna be received.
I want you to flip that coin. Flip that very coin. It's on 8 tails, but I want you to flip that coin 2 heads. Flip what she just said. Amen. And let me say something. Fear. You fear what's going to happen to you, but we should fear what's going to happen to them. If they don't accept the Lord, then what's going to happen? They're going to hell. So isn't it worth folks saying, Darrell, he's a religious fanatic. He's a lunatic. He can't quit hollering and screaming. What's wrong with him? He's twisted, right? Call me twisted. I'm going somewhere. I'm headed somewhere. When this life is over, I'm going where? I'm going home to be with the Lord. Why? Simply because he has a free gift and he's with me. I'm led by him. That's all it really takes. Our works will as to that he was with us. Did you serve me? And did you live this life for me? And not because I need dirt. Did you love me? Did you love your neighbor as you love yourself? Did you do it for the benefit of others? Just like what he said. He has to be with us. And man, I want to tell you guys something in this life. He's not. This is going to make it a whole lot harder. And now I'm going to flip that coin, what I said, our clicks. Even if you don't know somebody, that doesn't give you an excuse not to do it. Because sometimes there are folks like me who are hard-headed as I was as a child. I needed to hear from somebody who did know me, and the Lord said, I can fix that too. And he will, and he did. So here's where I'm going with that. If the Lord puts it on your heart to speak to somebody, to witness somebody, if you're in an airplane station and he tells you to go witness to somebody, and if you say, Lord, I don't know what to say, you just sit down and you just talk to them. You just hold that. We do it all the time, right? We do it all the time. Just sit down and just have a normal conversation. Here's what's happening, guys. Here's what often happens, and here's why I'm saying this has happened to me as well for a long time. How do I say it, Lord? What do I say? Hey, we had a code, and I got shook up. She said, let's go code 3. And you know what I asked? How do I tell them, hey, to go code 3? How do you do it? You do it by however the Lord has placed it on your heart. Do it as best you can. Do it as best you can. Well, why do I say do it as best you can? That's what he wants.
And sometimes simple, I mean, it's just a simple thing. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It's just a simple thing.
And you don't know who you're speaking to, and you don't know. I say it like this. The Lord has fixed that person. If he sends you to him, he wants you to do it. He has equipped you for it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And I hear folks say, well, how can you say, just do it? I know how that sounds. That sounds crazy. Hey, to me as well. Just do it. It did for a long time. But you have to just do it. Why do we have to just do it? He has it. He's gonna fix it. He's gonna fix it how he wants it fixed. And here's why you just go do it. You're not doing it by yourself, right? He's with you. He's right there with you. He's right there with you. All you have to do is try. Attempt it. Sometimes, and I'm going to share with you guys, sometimes once the word said, it gets people's attention. It makes them pay attention to what I'm saying more closely. And you know what happens? They get to hear from him. Why? Because he's with me. Not because I started, but simply because he's with me. He's fixed me how he wants me to be. That's what each one of us have to accept. We are the way we are because the Lord speaks us that way. But if we'll humble ourselves and allow ourselves to be used by him and allow him to be with us, allow him to speak through us, then what's going to happen? Lives are going to be impacted and changed. You hear me speak on that impact. Impacted for the good of Jesus Christ. Impacted for their good, their salvation. Everybody wants what? To go home to be with the Lord. But here's what we have to share with people, the truth. I hear some folks say this often. He's a God of love, and once this is over, we're all going home to be with him. He says in here what? He's going to tell some to depart from me. So that sound like he's saying once this is over, we're all over. The ones who served him, the ones who had him with him, the ones who did what he asked of them, it's going to be just those who are going home. And when we hear that, I have to show. If you don't know, you aren't going home. But you're just not. Man, I want to get going again, but I want to take this and I want to say this as you read this. And I'm so sorry I got going this morning. And I'm going to say it again. I want you to on Sundays when we it is sure I'm going to give you a chance. And not just him. He knows he has that. He knows he is a prophet. But as well, you too. You too. If something is on your heart, if the Lord has placed something on your heart, share with us. Share with us. Why do I say share? That's what Cheryl, hey, does not know. I enjoyed our trip so much. Why did I enjoy our trip, Cheryl, that much?
You want that air conditioner?
Yeah. And it helps. I know I don't have one. It helps. But there was one more I enjoyed so much.
I think she told you like she saw it.
I got to hear from you. Everybody has what? A perspective, a story, an angle. And our angles are different. Why? Because he's done completely different things. He's helped us all. But he's had his own way of doing what he's done in each one of our lives. And there are some folks in here who are wonderful speakers. And I'm going to tell you what just gets me. I get in here and I hear some people say that. Then I tell myself, if I could speak like that, Lord, I'd be so much better speaker. Or him. Hey, this morning. But still I felt bad. But here's where I'm going. There's some folks who want to see me and say, that guy's a lunatic, he's a fanatic, and I don't want to hear nothing else he has to say. And then what do? Text, you go get him. Kyle, they go get him. That's why we're so different. That's why we need to be different. That's why we're made to be different. The hands, the feet, the ears. But let me say this, we are all just as important. Why are we all just as important? Because we're sharing what? Good news. We're sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. Hey, we're sharing what? The same. It's just over and over and over. There are some folks have a high-pitched voice. There are some people have a low-pitched voice. Some folks speak English. Some folks speak Spanish. Some folks speak German. Some people speak French. It needs to be heard and spoken all different fashions, all different languages, in all different ways. And what in these different ways are we trying to communicate? In all these different forms and fashions, we still put forth the love of Jesus. The good news. So, as you guys are hearing me saying all of this over and over and over, what am I saying? I'm simply saying what he said this morning in the moment. We need to have the Lord. If we've got the Lord with us, if tomorrow is my very last day, it doesn't matter, right? Because he's with me. But if tomorrow is my last day and the Lord is not with me, what's going to happen? I'm going to hell. I'm going to say, old Daryl, he did. He tried to preach and he tried to speak, but you know what? He went to hell. I got to heaven and he wasn't there. If I don't have, the Lord with me, then that's what's going to happen. But guys, I make sure, the Lord is with me. I understand that the Lord has to be with it. I want you to take over back and read one more thing that I have already read, and it sticks in my mind. Every tree that does not bear good fruit, it will be what? Cut down
And burned.
and thrown in the fire. If we aren't saved, if we're not here, hate to serve Christ, if we don't do it for His good, if we don't hear still small quiet voice and obey Him. And there's one more part in here I'm gonna find too. And time just it gets away from me. Everyone who hears these things of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who has built his house on the sand. And the rain, they descended, the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat on the house, and it fell, and it was a great fall. All the same this, if you're not saved, if He's not with you, at the end of our lives, then that's just what's going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. Hey, you're going to wind up in hell. So he's saying this, and here's what folks often speak about works. If you're doing works for the reason, you're still doing it. But likewise, I hear folks also flip that. So they doing good. Those good works will get you there, and they're true as well. But if you're led by Christ, then it's not about those good works. It's about, hey, you did what He asked of you. You serve the Lord. You live for Him. And that's what's going to get you there. Not because of what you did, it's because you loved Christ. You heard from Him. What you served Christ, He was in your heart. He was with you. He understands our struggle. He understands our fault. He understands that Cheryl speaks well and she won't do it in a minute. I don't understand. No, I love Cheryl and Cheryl knows it, but I can pick on Cheryl, Kyle, and the whole group. Why? Because we each other. We're here to help each other. We're here to build each other up. I'm going to close with this. When I came here, I was in need of this. There were some times when I said, Lord, I'm not going back. He said, I'll put you in that bus with those people, and you're going to stay in that bus. Because that's where I want you. You need them, and I need you. Why is that so? We're led by the Lord, right? We need to surround ourselves with what? Good God-fearing people who are led by the Lord. Not just those good God-fearing folks who aren't led by the Lord, those good God-fearing people who are led by the Lord. If we surround ourselves with them, it's going to make all the difference. Now, what do I mean by it's going to make all the difference at the end of this life? And I speak to the end of my life. But see, I understand this. I have to get through this life, right? For Him to say, well done, my long and faithful servant. If I surround myself by good God-fearing folks, it's going to help me as I endure, as I make this journey of pilgrimage for Christ. It's going to help me. It won't hurt me. And if Cheryl says some things, hey, that hurts my feelings, it's all right, because she would set those things out of love. It's things I have to hear, it's things I need to hear. And believe it or not, I need to hear from y'all. Often